Hi, welcome to one of my favorite chapter book sets ever, Mr. Putter and Tabby. Now, before we get started, let's have a little talk. So, I would like to talk about, have you ever been alone? Imagine that you had to be alone every day, all by yourself. Nobody else lived with you, just you. How would you feel? Yeah. I would feel very lonely too. This right here, this is Mr. Putter. And Mr. Putter, he's an older gentleman. He's kind of like a grandpa. And he lives all alone. He's feeling that lonely feeling. And he's ready to do something about it. Let's read chapter 1 of Mr. Putter and Tabby Pour the Tea. By the way, this is written by Cynthia Rylant and author Arthur Howard. You know Cynthia Rylant, she's one of my favorites that we've done this year. When the relatives came, that's one of my favorite ones, and we hit that quite a few times this year. So let's read another of Cynthia Rylant's. Chapter 1 that we're going to read today is called Mr. Putter. You get a nice close-up look of Mr. Putter's house. It says, before he got his fine cat, Tabby, Mr. Putter lived all alone. In the mornings, he had no one to share his English muffins. In the afternoons, he had no one to share his tea. So let's talk about something on this page. First, let's talk about what an English muffin is, okay? So an English muffin, if you're not familiar, they're round like this, kind of flat, and you can slice them in half, toast them in the toaster, and then you can put butter in it and eat it. That's really yummy. You can put jelly on it. That's good too. Peanut butter. Oh, that's yummy. Cream cheese you can put on it. That's yummy. One of my favorite things is to have it for lunch. You can put a little pizza sauce and a little bit of cheese on it and heat it in the toaster oven and make a English muffin pizza. That's really yummy. So Mr. Putter eats his English muffin every morning for breakfast. And he says he had no one to share his English muffin with. Oh, he's lonely. There's no one else there. Just him and his English muffin. Just him and his tea in the afternoon. He wants somebody to share it with. Let's keep going. And in the evenings, there was no one Mr. Putter could tell his stories to. And he had the most wonderful stories to tell. What do you notice sitting there on Mr. Putter's lap? What is that? Do you see it's a photo album? Do you like to sit and look at photo albums of things from your family or other people's families? I know my kids do at our house and at our grandparents' house. Photo albums are great to look at and talk about things from the past. All day long, as Mr. Putter clipped his roses and fed his tulips and watered his trees, Mr. Putter wished for some company. Someone to spend time with. So just in case, I think most of us have heard of roses. We know what roses are. If you haven't heard of tulips before, let's use our clues to figure it out. We've got picture clues, we've got word clues, and our background knowledge. So he's taking care of his roses, his tulips, and watering his tree. So do you see the tulips in the picture? I see some right back here. Beautiful tulips. And some other tulips over here. They're a type of flower. It says plant food. He had warm muffins to eat. He had good tea to pour. And he had wonderful stories to tell. Mr. Putter was tired of living alone. Mr. Putter wanted a cat. Look at his thought bubble while he's there lying in the hammock. Do you see that awesome thought bubble in the shape of a cat? He's dreaming about and thinking about a cat. And that is the end of chapter 1. So we're going to stop right there today. I am going to ask you, I've put some questions on the story and on our class story, and I want you to work on a couple of questions today, okay? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to describe Mr. Putter. What is he like? You learned so much about him in this story. Tell me about Mr. Putter. We haven't met Tabby yet. That's the title of chapter 2. Let me show you our table of contents. This book, does it have a table of contents? It might not. Oh, it does. Table of contents right there. Remember how I talked to you about, along with nonfiction books, sometimes chapter books have a table of contents? So chapter 1 is called Mr. Putter. That's what we just read. Chapter 2 is called Tabby, and chapter 3 is called Mr. Putter and Tabby. So I want you to tell me all about Mr. Putter. You just learned about him. And then after you describe Mr. Putter and tell me what he's like, I want you to make a prediction. This chapter ended with Mr. Putter wanted a cat. So what do you think is going to happen in the rest of this chapter book? Be specific. Tell me exactly what you think is going to happen. Don't just give me one little sentence. Give me lots of good detail in there. Tell me what you think is going to happen. How's it going to happen? I can't wait to see those predictions sent to me. And then tomorrow, we'll work on chapter 2 of Mr. Putter and Tabby Pour the Tea with the chapter Tabby. Bye, friends.